Hi, and welcome back to Make It Meaningful. I'm Garden Girl Jen Gallagher. So this week I want to talk to you a little bit about something that you might discover in your photos after you've taken them. So after you've gone through your photos and you get them developed, or you have them printed, or you're looking at them on your computer, I'm sure you've noticed every once in a while that you've actually managed to capture a relationship between people that maybe you didn't realize you'd captured in the first place. And children have a tendency to do this a little more than adults. It might be a sibling like pinching another one. It might be that they're, you're touching me, or something like that, but it totally captures their relationship. This especially happens when you take a lot of photos. If you only take one or two photos of an event and you're telling them to stand in one place and say cheese, you're kind of missing out on the opportunity to kind of capture the relationship as it truly is and as it unfolds. So the best way to do this is to take a bunch of photos of an event and then go back and pick some photos that both are perfect and tell the event, but also the ones that really capture the relationship between siblings, or a parent and a child, or a child and their friend, but it shows a little bit more about their relationship. So in the layout that I'm going to make today, you're going to notice that my son is making a face in this photo, and you have to look closely, but he is not quite as thrilled with this photo shoot as his sister is. But I wanted to use this particular photo because it clearly captures the fact that while they love one another, sometimes they don't want to be right next to each other. So your challenge, whether you choose to follow along or not is up to you, is to find those photos that have captured life as it really is. Or I want you to start taking a few more photos of an event to see if you can capture those kinds of relationships on film. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with an older sheet of pattern paper that I have from Echo Park Paper. It is a camping paper and it has constellations on it. And then this is a Studio Calico paper. I'll be sure to link you to some other options in the supply section in case you don't have any of these supplies. To the bottom, I'm going to add a scalloped punched from Craft cardstock. Just mount that on the top, and everything's pre-cut. Make sure that adheres, and then we'll attach the entire thing to the page. We'll center that right in the middle of the page. I do want to leave a little bit of space here at the bottom because I'm going to be creating something special down there. Let's just align it at the top. To the bottom of the yellow pattern paper, I'm going to add some green dot pattern paper, and it's a rich green color. And then above that, I'm going to take some blue dot pattern paper, and you can see that I'm working a lot with B-side paper or tone-on-tone paper because I like the subtle patterns that it shows when I do that. I'm going to tuck that in below. And then to the top of that blue pattern paper, I'm going to use another scallop shape. This time, however, I'm going to pull from the green. So you can use the same tool a couple of different ways on your projects, and it makes the project a little bit more dynamic. Plus, I'm repeating shapes. So I have scallops at the top and scallops at the bottom. Across the top here, I'm going to add a piece of tone-on-tone brown pattern paper. It is from Fancy Pants Designs. Just any kind of craft tone-on-tone looking paper will work for this technique. And this will go here, but before I attach it, I want to add some strips of green pattern paper to the top of it. So I'm going to take a scratch piece of green pattern paper. You can see I've die cut. And I'm going to cut one thick and one thin strip from this pattern paper, or rather cardstock. So you can see one thick and one thin. And I'm going to adhere it across. Let's use that same sheet of scratch paper to add the adhesive. I usually add adhesive like this on a scratch paper so I don't get it on my project. If the line is a little thicker, the area to be cut, then I don't worry about it quite as much. We'll adhere the thick at the bottom, and we'll do the thin. Now this does have a texture on one side and a smooth on one side, so you could do one smooth and one textured. You could do both textured like I'm doing. It's up to you. And one's going to hang off the edge and one is not. To that, I'm going to add some crochet twine. We'll wrap that around a few times. and tie it off into a bow. And I'm using a kind of craft colored twine, but you could use any color of twine that you want. There are several different manufacturers that make twine. Again, I'll link you to all of them in the supply section on this seed. So go right here across the top. And then the photo I'm going to use is of my son and daughter, and it's going to cover up this side of the yellow pattern paper and blue pattern paper. And it is a 4x6 photo, and I have left a little bit of the white around it that was printed. To bring in some more of that craft look, I'm going to add some craft photo corners. You see me use these a lot. Canson makes them, ThermaWeb makes them. They make them in several different colors. ThermaWeb even has some glittered ones now that are fun to try. Here at the bottom, I'm going to take a couple of different shapes. What I did is I cut one by hand, and then I took a lot of Brad's shapes and products actually have additional die cut pieces on them. And this is from a collection from Echo Park Paper, and it had a yellow pennant and a blue pennant. And I pulled the Brad's off and decided to use the Brad's later, but I'm going to use the pennant shapes now. So this is just a fun way to stretch your products. So we'll just layer these on top of each other. If you don't have Brad's that have die cut pieces that look like this, then you could hand cut them just from any color of pattern paper that you want. Now at the bottom of the page, I have some pattern stickers that I've kept for a while. These are from Jilly Bean Soup. And I'm just going to kind of paper piece them together. And we'll tuck this one up and underneath, and they're in the same colors that I used on my layout here. And then I'm going to use some cork stickers. And you may not have these stickers, so you could use chipboard die cuts, you could use any kind of thickers that you like. Just look for some unique textures. I like the look of cork, so I wanted to use the cork here. You'll notice that I'm combining both large and lowercase letters. And then before I place it all the way down, I also have a die cut. I like combo titles. This particular die cut says hello, and I've already added some adhesive on the back with the Zig glue pen. I'm going to add a little bit more so it's very sticky and sticks to my project. And with these Zig pens, you just paint the adhesive onto the shape. Just on the back. Just get enough that it stays nice and sticky for you. And then before making sure those back stickers stick down, I want to see placement. I want to be able to read both parts of the title. Now that I have the placement how I like, now I can stick the stickers down. I don't want to forget the little period either. Then I want to show you how you can incorporate a technique that you've used before. So in one of my very first Make It Meaningful videos, I created the accordion fold circles similar to the ones you can see here. And you can make several of these and keep these on hand, or you can, once you've learned a technique, recreate it. And I always like being able to do that because that stretches the supplies that I have and the techniques that I've learned. So we'll go ahead and adhere that with some glue dots. But again, I love the look of a big embellishment piece. Now for the journaling, I printed it on craft cardstock so that it would match some of the other craft elements. But then I machine stitched along the edge, as you can see here. Just kind of machine stitched that outer edge there. And we'll slightly overlap the photo. To the top of that journaling card, I'm going to add a cork arrow. Cork shapes are great. And then we'll add some enamel dots to for the project as well. Just to bring in some of that bright yellow color to the project. And then to finish it off, we're going to add some stickers. This is a sticker from a baby collection, and it says Forever in My Heart, and on the back I have some foam dots. We're going to slightly overlap the top sticker here. And then behind that I have a older sticker that says Noteworthy. It's in a slightly different color of green. And I've moved this sticker several times, so it's getting a little less sticky, so I'll add glue dots to the back of it. So there you have a layout that shows a relationship between my son and daughter. If you look closely at the photo of my son, he's clearly not thrilled, but I love that it captures a relationship. So look for photos if you've taken like 10 or 15 or 3 to 5, look for a photo that best shows the story. So since I'm talking about that they're best friends and that they still don't get along, it made sense to have one where maybe one of the siblings wasn't thrilled about having their picture taken. So thank you for joining me for today's Make It Meaningful. Be sure to subscribe to the 2Peach YouTube channel so you don't miss out on this weekly video series.